Welcome to Biography with Plutarch, where we delve into the lives of extraordinary individuals, seeking to understand the complexities of human character and the timeless lessons that can be gleaned from their experiences. Today, we embark on a fascinating journey through the life of Miles Davis, the legendary American jazz musician whose innovative spirit and iconic sound continue to captivate audiences worldwide. As we step into the world of Miles Davis, we find ourselves in the midst of a sweltering summer day in Alton, Illinois, where he was born on May 26, 1926. The air is thick with the sweet scent of blooming flowers, and the distant hum of jazz music wafts through the air, setting the tone for a life that would be deeply intertwined with the rhythms and melodies of this iconic genre. Miles Dewey Davis III was the eldest of three children to Cleo and Miles Davis Jr., a successful dental surgeon who provided for his family's needs with comfort and stability. However, it was not long before the young Miles would be introduced to the world of music, which would become the defining passion of his life. As a child, he would often sneak into his father's study, where the sounds of jazz and blues filled the airwaves, courtesy of his father's extensive record collection. The likes of Louis Armstrong, Duke Ellington, and Charlie Christian became his earliest influences, sparking an insatiable curiosity about the art form. He would spend hours listening to these records, mesmerized by the soulful melodies and complex harmonies that seemed to transport him to a world beyond his own. His mother, Cleo, recognizing her son's budding interest, presented him with a trumpet on his 13th birthday, setting in motion a chain of events that would forever alter the trajectory of his life. The trumpet, with its sleek brass body and intricate valves, became an extension of Miles's being, a tool through which he could express the emotions and thoughts that swirled within him. As he began to learn the basics of music theory and technique, he found himself drawn into a world of creative expression and experimentation, where the boundaries between reality and fantasy blurred. The Davis family's relocation to East St. Louis, Illinois, when Miles was 7 years old, proved to be a pivotal moment in his development as a musician. The city's thriving jazz scene and the presence of talented local musicians created an environment conducive to Miles's growth. He began taking trumpet lessons from Elwood Buchanan, a respected music teacher, who instilled in him the fundamentals of music theory and technique. Buchanan's guidance helped shape Miles's early sound, which was characterized by a unique blend of melodic simplicity and harmonic complexity. As Miles navigated his teenage years, he became increasingly drawn to the jazz clubs and dance halls that dotted the city's landscape. These establishments, often frequented by musicians of the caliber of Clark Terry and Dizzy Gillespie, offered the young trumpeter a glimpse into a world of creative expression and experimentation. The sounds, styles, and personalities he encountered during these formative years would later coalesce into the distinctive sound that became synonymous with Miles Davis. He would often sneak into these clubs, hiding in the shadows to watch the musicians perform, mesmerized by their skill and artistry. The historical context of Miles's early life is noteworthy, as it was a time of great social change and cultural upheaval in America. The Great Depression had left an indelible mark on the nation, and the jazz scene, in particular, was undergoing a significant transformation. The swing era, with its big bands and dance-oriented sound, was giving way to the more complex, improvisational styles of bebop and cool jazz. This shift would have a profound impact on Miles's development as a musician, as he found himself at the forefront of a revolution that sought to redefine the boundaries of jazz. Louis. The young Miles, with his introspective nature and innate curiosity, was poised to embark on a journey that would take him to the heights of artistic expression, while also navigating the complexities and challenges that come with genius-level talent. He would sit in his room, mesmerized by the sounds of classical music, trying to decipher the intricate harmonies and melodies that filled the airwaves. This early exposure to classical music would later influence his approach to jazz, as he sought to incorporate elements of harmony and composition into his own playing style. In these formative years, we see the emergence of a personality that is both confident and vulnerable, driven by an insatiable passion for music and a desire to push beyond the established boundaries of his craft. The seeds sown during this period would eventually blossom into a career marked by innovation, experimentation, and an unwavering commitment to artistic expression. He faced numerous obstacles, including racism, personal struggles, and creative setbacks, which threatened to derail his career at various points. However, it was his unwavering dedication to his craft, combined with an unrelenting passion for innovation, that allowed him to overcome these hurdles and emerge as one of the most iconic figures in jazz history. As Miles Davis entered his late teens, he began to make a name for himself in the vibrant jazz scene of East St. Louis, where the Mississippi River flowed like a lifeblood through the city's streets. The air was alive with the sounds of saxophones, trumpets, and pianos, echoing from the clubs and bars that lined the sidewalks. Miles's unique sound, which blended elements of bebop and swing, caught the attention of local musicians, including Clark Terry, who would later become a mentor to Miles. Terry, a veteran trumpet player with a warm, raspy tone, took Miles under his wing, offering guidance and encouragement as he navigated the complex harmonies and melodies of jazz. In 1944, at the age of 18, Miles moved to New York City to attend the Juilliard School, where he studied classical music theory and composition. The city was a whirlwind of sound and energy, with jazz clubs like Minton's Playhouse and the Savoy Ballroom pulsating with life. However, his true education took place in these very clubs, where he immersed himself in the vibrant scene, meeting and learning from musicians such as Charlie Parker, Dizzy Gillespie, and Thelonious Monk. These legendary figures became his teachers, mentors, and friends, shaping his musical vision and inspiring him to push the boundaries of jazz. One of the most significant events in Miles's early career was his recruitment by Billy Eckstine to join his orchestra in 1944. This marked a turning point for Miles as he began to tour with the band, gaining valuable experience and exposure to new audiences. During this period, he also met and befriended other young musicians, including Art Blakey and Sarah Vaughan, who would become lifelong friends and collaborators. The camaraderie and creative energy of these early years had a profound impact on Miles's development as an artist, fostering a sense of community and shared purpose that would stay with him throughout his career. In 1945, Miles joined Charlie Parker's quintet, which included Dizzy Gillespie, Max Roach, and Curly Russell. This group, known for their fast-paced and complex improvisations, pushed the boundaries of jazz, creating a new sound that would influence generations to come. Miles's time with Parker was instrumental in shaping his style, as he learned to navigate the intricate harmonies and melodies of bebop. The intensity and virtuosity of these musicians raised the bar for Miles, pushing him to develop his own unique voice and approach to improvisation. The late 1940s saw Miles becoming increasingly involved in the cool jazz movement, which emphasized a more relaxed, introspective approach to improvisation. His collaboration with arranger Gil Evans on the album Birth of the Cool, 1949 to 1950, marked a significant departure from the fast-paced bebop of his earlier work. This album, featuring a nonet that included musicians such as Jerry Mulligan and Lee Konitz, showcased Miles's ability to craft haunting, atmospheric soundscapes. The music was characterized by its use of unconventional instrumentation, introspective melodies, and a more subdued, chamber-like approach to jazz. Miles' relationship with Gil Evans was particularly influential during this period. The two musicians shared a deep understanding of harmony and composition, which led to some of the most innovative and iconic recordings in jazz history. As Miles would later recall, "Gil was like a father to me. He taught me about harmony and composition, and he gave me the freedom to experiment." Evans' guidance and mentorship helped Miles develop his skills as a composer and arranger, enabling him to create complex, nuanced music that explored new textures and moods. The 1950s were a time of great creative ferment for Miles, as he continued to push the boundaries of jazz. His iconic album, Kind of Blue, 1959, recorded with a quintet that included John Coltrane, Bill Evans, and Jimmy Cobb, is widely regarded as one of the greatest jazz albums of all time. This album's use of modal improvisation, where musicians improvise over a series of scales rather than chord progressions, created a sense of freedom and spontaneity that would influence generations of jazz musicians to come. The music was characterized by its simplicity, elegance, and emotional depth, with each musician bringing their unique perspective and contribution to the table. Throughout his career, Miles was known for his intense focus on his craft, as well as his demanding personality. As he once said, "If you understand it, it's not music. Music is supposed to be something that you feel." This intensity and passion drove him to continually innovate and experiment, often incorporating elements of rock, funk, and electronic music into his work. Miles' relentless pursuit of artistic expression led him to explore new sounds, textures, and approaches, always seeking to challenge himself and his audience. As the 1960s dawned, Miles found himself at the forefront of a new wave of jazz innovation, surrounded by musicians such as Herbie Hancock, Wayne Shorter, and Tony Williams. His album Milestones, 1958, featuring this quartet, marked a significant shift towards a more introspective, atmospheric sound. The music was characterized by its use of space, nuance, and subtlety, with each musician contributing to a rich, layered tapestry of sound. This period saw Miles exploring new possibilities in jazz, pushing the boundaries of harmony, melody, and rhythm. The impact of Miles's music on the development of jazz cannot be overstated. His influence can be heard in the work of countless musicians, from John Coltrane and Bill Evans to Herbie Hancock and Wayne Shorter. Miles's innovative approach to improvisation, composition, and arrangement raised the bar for jazz musicians, inspiring them to explore new sounds, textures, and approaches. As the 1970s progressed, Miles Davis's health began to decline, and he faced a series of personal struggles that would test his resolve and creative spirit. The painful hip condition that had been plaguing him for years, a result of a childhood injury, grew more debilitating, making it difficult for him to stand or walk for extended periods. To manage the chronic pain, Miles became increasingly dependent on painkillers, which would later lead to a period of addiction and personal turmoil. Despite these challenges, he continued to create innovative music, pouring his emotions and experiences into albums such as Agartha, 1975, and Pangea, 1976. These works, though often experimental and challenging, demonstrated Miles's unwavering commitment to pushing the boundaries of jazz and exploring new sounds. The recording sessions for these albums were often intense and improvisational, with Miles gathering a talented group of musicians, including guitarists Pete Cosey and Reggie Lucas, and bassist Michael Henderson. Together, they would jam for hours, creating complex, funk-infused soundscapes that reflected Miles's fascination with the emerging electronic music scene. These sessions were not without their challenges, however, as Miles's pain and personal struggles often made him irritable and demanding. Yet, despite these difficulties, the music that emerged from this period remained some of the most innovative and influential of Miles's career. In the 1980s, Miles experienced a resurgence in popularity, thanks in part to his collaboration with producer Marcus Miller on albums such as Tutu, 1986, and Music from Siesta, 1987. This period also saw him embracing new technologies, including digital recording and sampling, which allowed him to explore new sonic landscapes and textures. As he once said, "I'm not a nostalgic person. I'm always looking forward." This forward-thinking approach allowed Miles to remain relevant, even as the music landscape around him continued to evolve at a rapid pace. Miles's work with Marcus Miller was particularly significant, as it marked a new era of creativity and experimentation in his career. The album Tutu, for example, featured a mix of jazz, rock, and funk elements, with Miles's trumpet playing taking on a more subdued, introspective tone. The album's title track, Tutu, was a tribute to South African Archbishop Desmond Tutu, and its soaring melody and poignant lyrics captured the spirit of hope and defiance that defined the anti-apartheid movement. Throughout his life, Miles received numerous accolades for his contributions to jazz, including multiple Grammy Awards, a Lifetime Achievement Award from the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences, and a posthumous induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. His influence extended far beyond the world of jazz, with artists such as Jimi Hendrix, the Beatles, and Prince citing him as an inspiration. Miles's music had a profound impact on these artists who sought to capture the essence of his innovative spirit in their own work. One notable example of Miles's influence can be seen in the work of guitarist John McLaughlin, who played with Miles on several occasions and was deeply influenced by his approach to improvisation. McLaughlin's own music, particularly with the Mahavishnu Orchestra, reflected the complex, fusion-based sound that Miles had pioneered in the 1970s. Similarly, the music of Herbie Hancock, another longtime collaborator of Miles's, demonstrates a deep understanding of the jazz-funk idiom that Miles helped to create. Miles Davis passed away on September 28, 1991, at the age of 65, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire and influence musicians across genres. As he once observed, "The music is not in the notes, but in the silence between." This profound insight into the nature of music and creativity has become a guiding principle for many artists who strive to capture the essence of Miles's innovative spirit by exploring the spaces between the notes. Today, Miles Davis is remembered as one of the most iconic and influential figures in jazz history. His music remains widely popular, with albums like Kind of Blue and Bitches Brew continuing to inspire new generations of listeners. In recent years, there has been a resurgence of interest in Miles's music, particularly among young musicians who are drawn to the experimental and avant-garde aspects of his work. The rise of electronic and hip-hop music has also led to a new appreciation for Miles's pioneering work in these genres, with many artists sampling and reinterpreting his music in innovative ways. As a pioneer, he paved the way for countless others to explore new sounds and push the boundaries of what was possible. His legacy serves as a powerful reminder that art is not static, but rather a dynamic and ever-evolving force that can transform and transcend our understanding of the world. From his early days as a young trumpet player in New York City to his later years as a global superstar, Miles remained true to his artistic vision, even when it meant challenging the status quo or facing criticism from others. Through his music, he continues to inspire and influence new generations of artists and listeners, reminding us that the true beauty of art lies not in its technical proficiency, but in its ability to evoke emotions, challenge our assumptions, and transform our understanding of the world. That's all for today's Biography with Plutarch. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, remember that understanding the lives of remarkable individuals helps us better understand ourselves.